good. Okay, we're good.
Leave it there or move it?
That leave it Yeah, I have.
All set? Yeah? Okay, take two. So first of all, thanks everybody for coming. I think that we're now, all technical issues are now resolved. We've got the guest of honor, we've got the camera. So without further ado, of course we're all here to send Alan off and wish him well. He has been an absolutely very important part of revenue management of American Airlines for 36 years. And so a great amount of loving attention has gone into his sort of farewell concert. We actually, to that point, we struggled a lot with what we should do, right? We didn't know if we should do like a song and dance number or like some like really teary, this is your life sentimental kind of thing. So we, got a bunch of our MBAs right. They built this big model, and they figured out that, like once you adjust for the cost of production and the ease of execution, that the best thing to do would be a skit. And so, in true RM fashion, we're going to send Alan off with a bit of a skit. This, of course, then created the next big issue, which is who plays Alan. Right? And so we talked about it, and the first thing he says, you gotta have somebody who's classy and who's dashing. And so we thought of a few. so the first guy wanted too much money, right? So then we reconsidered. And there's a little too much tread on the tires there, right? So we went to number 3, right? And I mean, that's classy and dashing, right? But you already got classy and dashing. I'm the MC, right? So I couldn't play Alan too. That's just beyond my ability. So we thought about it. We figured, there's just no good person to find out there. And we thought, all right, well, let's think about a different dimension. Right? Let's get somebody who's just got a really warm personality, very optimistic, easy to get along with. And so we thought about a few people. And this one was really hard, Clearly he doesn't fit the part, and he's not here anymore. So we didn't know who to get for this job, right? Because you think about it, the person's got to be, to pull Alan off, you got to be a pretty good-looking man. You got to have a good personality, and you got to work for airline wages, right? So we thought, who could play Alan? And then it dawned on us, who would be better at playing Alan than himself? So Alan, stand up. He has no idea what parts we've written for him. But for those of you who've known Alan over the years, he's been a vital part of all of the going away or birthday party or whatever skits that we've ever done for anyone. And so who better to do an impromptu version of himself than Alan? So, with that, over the next few minutes, what we'll do is we'll do a little bit of a retrospective on Alan's 36 years here at American Airlines. Starting first and foremost with the 1970s. Now Alan, for those of you who don't know, joined the company in 1976 on one cold winter's day in the Boston Res office. Here he is, nicely mustachioed, beautiful 70s hair. At the time our company made a whopping $4.2 million profit. Times were good. And Alan, of course, had just started at Res, and his fast fingers were tearing up Sabre machines everywhere. But he was also well known in the 70s for his fast feet on the dance floor. Get up.
the phone. Thank you for calling American Airlines. How may I help you?
Hi, I would like to go to the Redwood Forest where they have them big trees.
So you would be traveling to San Francisco. It's lovely this time of year.
How far is that from the Redwood Forest? I don't want to spend much time in that city full of them hippies and them drugs.
Well, it would be about 2 to 3 hours. It's a very scenic drive.
Okay, well, I'm bringing my dog along, and we're going to have to stop about every half hour to let her pee. How much longer is that going to be?
Okay, I can understand that. And from what city will you be leaving from?
Here in Malvern. Where else do you think I'll be leaving from?
I'm not familiar with Malvern. And what state is that?
What state? Why, it's the great state of Arkansas, you moron. You ignorant Yankees need to learn your geography. Just forget it. I'll take the Greyhound instead.
I understand, and thank you for calling American Airlines, and have a very nice day.
So the 70s were clearly an interesting time for Alan, topped only by the 80s. And as many of you know, in the late 70s, early 80s, our company was starting to change very significantly. As the 80s started to dawn, one, we were growing very significantly, adding a lot of new jobs, a lot of new opportunities. But most importantly, we moved our headquarters from New York to Texas. And as we moved from New York to Texas, of course, Alan, who at the time was at Hartford Res, also moved to Texas. Alan loved Texas, of course, because in Texas, you can dress like J.R. Ewing. And he made the most out of this over his many years here. In the penthouses, at the airport, but best of all, doing cowboy yoga. So wherever Alan was, it was always a party, and nobody did Texas quite like Alan. This, of course, brings us to our second little vignette, which is his first day in Texas.
John, howdy, partner. It's like our old cube truck. It's great to be in Texas and the pricing and yield management department. Doesn't this beat working in reservations in Hartford? Hartford.
Alan, what on earth are you wearing? No one actually wears that Texas stuff, because no one around here was actually born here. Everyone here is an eggplant. I mean, a transplant.
John, this is Texas. I'm dressed for success. You know me, I always like to dress up.
TMI, Alan. This is not casual rodeo dress-down day. You better not let Mr. Crandall see you, or you'll be back at the ERO on the graveyard shift.
Well, I'm here and ready to start my new job as an international pricer. I heard that Pan Am filed a new Visit USA fare, and I want to make sure I get our match in FedEx tonight. I really did. I hear someday we'll be able to send our pricing actions electronically. Wouldn't that be something? Hey, where's my saber set?
Well, Alan, this is the 80s, and we are in the office of the future, meaning we're cutting costs. There's only one saber set, and we're sharing it. I doubt if you need it much anyway, as we only just started flying to London, our one and only Europe route. Sorry, guy, domestic rules this airline. You'll just have to wait until I am done. Those idiots at Brandif are up to something again. We better keep that quiet from Mr. Crandall. He may do something crazy.
Well, it's still great to be here. Give me a big Texas-sized hug, John.
Have you been in the Texas sun too long? This isn't like Hartford. We are not allowed to hug at headquarters. Unless it's a safe room, I think. Or if someone is choking in the cafeteria. Anyway, we better get back to work. If we play our cards right, we can get out of this department in a couple of months. Maybe we go work at the Admirals Club.
Yahoo, partner. That's the ticket. We're American Airlines doing what we do best. The Admirals Club. Yahoo!
This of course brings us to the 90s. And the 90s brought even more change. Because in the 90s, Alan became a real fixture, not just at American Airlines, but in revenue management. First of all, he became a manager, and oftentimes had to make some very serious decisions. He was also at this time becoming increasingly influential, and he was able to identify those people who would come to help him soon enough in life. He cultivated relationships with these power brokers and used them always for the best of purposes. Also at this time, he really made our parties as festive as they could possibly be, and he really changed what we thought of a going-away party to be. But Alan, being the true Renaissance man that he is, whenever we had our annual RM picnic offsite, he was also the head chef. And he would, no matter what, he was very friendly and always willing to cater to anybody's dietary needs, no matter who they might be. But where 1994, or the 1990s are probably best illustrated, are through Alan's work with the prison ministries. And for those of you who aren't familiar, it is, of course, a program that offers ministry to people who are incarcerated throughout prisons, really throughout the world, but also in the Texas area. So, without further ado, our next vignette will be his cookie delivery service to Huntsville's max security prison.
Cookies.
Thank you.
Hi guys, it's cookie time again. These cookies were baked by my co-workers. Their thoughts and prayers are with you.
Thanks, Alan. Did you bring milk?
I think I'm loud enough they can hear me without the button. Oh, Alan, I was hoping for a little fruitcake this time with a special ingredient, if you know what I mean. Like a small file, maybe? But really, could you bring me something to read next time? Like that Grisham novel where the guy got framed because the judge was crooked. Remember that one? Bring me that one, because that's my story.
Hey, Alan, your cookies taste just like the brownies I used to love back in college. They're so good. I feel like eating them all.
Then That's great. I'm so glad you like the cookies. This batch was made by our new undergrads. They always seem so happy at work, especially after they have some cookies. Anyway, guys, I am here for a reason.
Hey man, we're all here for a reason.
Yeah, my reason was that the judge was crooked and the jury was rigged, just like one of them Grisham books. Maybe they'll make a movie about me.
My reason was too many brownies.
Guys, the reason you are here doesn't matter. It's what you do next that counts.
Hey, does that mean you're breaking us out?
Is this a jailbreak? Oh, go, Mercurio! Sorry. We knew you'd come through for us. Is there a key baked into these cookies? I know there's something in there.
I just want some more cookies.
Let me see.
So this, of course, brings us to the 2000s. And the 2000s were also a very interesting and colorful time in Alan's employment with the company. First of all, he met many people who kind of go without saying, frankly. I'll just hang on this picture for a while. So true. He also, now that Alan was a little more set as a fixture here in our company, he could get away with doing a lot of things. For example, holding his staff meetings in the summer at ball games. But though times had changed, his ferocity on the dance floor had not. Best known for through the 2000s were the many, many very tremendous Halloween costumes that he pulled off. Here you see Crooked Dentist, the Joker, my mother-in-law. It's like a likeness. It's a spitting image. Cat in the Hat. Superman. Among all the superheroes. Little known fact, those are actually his real abs. Also, while Superman, he and Lex Luthor had a capoeira duel. Very interesting, for those of you into that. But of all the Halloween costumes that were out there, there was one that was by far and away the best. And there is no one who will ever pull off a Halloween costume as good as this one. And there's no there's no follow-up that Alan could have ever done. So we had to bring it back for one last time.
Are you lost?
I'm not lost. I'm Cruella de Vil.
Oh, so you're somebody's grandma around here. Here, who are you looking for? Let me help you.
No, Cruella de Vil, as in 101 Dalmatians. Don't you know what that is?
Oh, I think my parents liked, or maybe it was my grandparents who really liked it. You're fine.
Hey, young R&er, buzz off. I'll be happy to assist this lovely lady. How you doing? Would you like to check out my RFDB fares?
I feel like Harvey Korman and Tim. John, it's me.
Do I know you?
Yes, don't you recognize me? We've known each other for years.
Hey, I've known a lot of people and a lot of ladies. You do have a strange accent that sounds vaguely familiar. Well, I can't recall it, but look, I don't need a scene here at work. I think I'm already on double secret probation.
John, don't you recognize me? Don't you know who it is? It's Alan.
Alan? Man, I think you're taking this dress-up phase a bit too far. You know, Halloween was 3 weeks ago. And no one else is dressed up today. Anyway, just to be clear, I knew it was you the whole time. I was just playing along. Sort of. Let's pretend this never happened.
Okay, but I'll give you a heads up. After I retire, if I see someone at the ticket counter downstairs that looks like Barbara Bush, it's probably not her.
You're staying the rest of it.
This, of course, and sadly brings us to the end of our story, which also happens to be the reason we're all here, which is to send Alan back. So while he takes off his high heels, I wanted to say a few words about Alan, and we have a few small gifts for him before he comes up and speaks to everyone. And what I will say on a slightly more serious note is that over the many, many years as our company has changed, and certainly as many people have come in and out of revenue management, Alan has always been the oak tree. He's been the most consistent part of what we do. He's been our sort of ambassador to other departments, really the keeper of the culture of revenue management. As a colleague, he's oftentimes been a conscience, certainly among all of my managers, and he's also been a great support to the many people who've worked for him, many of whom have a lot of technical expertise, which has been critical to running this business, which is critical to running this business, and whose contributions haven't always gotten the level of attention that they probably deserve. But under Alan's watch, all of those people certainly, I think, always felt like they were part of something much bigger. So what I will say is certainly as Alan, as you start riding off into the sunset, we will certainly remember you for a long time, not for the way you dance, not for the Halloween costumes, not for the sexy mustache you had in the 70s, but really the way we will remember you, certainly the way I will, is one, your sense of optimism, I think is absolutely important to anybody who's a leader in this company, because in this business there's any number of things that always tend to break against us, and to have somebody who is consistently and always finding the best in every opportunity is absolutely vitally important. And then the other thing that, even though I've only been around you for 36 years, it's always impressed me, is that you have one of the most tremendous senses of justice. That is, you've always been willing to do what's right, not what's easy, whether it was personnel decisions or business decisions. And when you combine that sense of optimism with that sense of justice, it's made you a very, very important part of this company. It's funny, as we were all talking, we talked about the various contributions that you've had, right? And what we all realized is, you've been here, you've been such a part of what we do that there's no single contribution, that essentially your life has been the contribution here. That certainly means a lot to us. And so as you ride off to the sun, we have some small tokens for you. The first of which is a statue of you. We have a bronze eagle, of which this is a likeness. And also a print signed by, I think, everybody here at this point, but certainly the many, many people that you've worked with through the years. So we'll have both of these for you as you leave. But without further ado, I'll turn the mic over to you. Get my notes.
Thank you. Also, thank you everyone for being here. It's I know I've provided you with enough material over the years, and you guys really ran with it. I didn't think I'd be performing my own skit as I left. It's a little overwhelming. I put down some notes just because I've seen a few other previous retirees do so, and I said, you know what, I'm going to ramble if I don't, and I want to make sure I say a few things. It does feel like a lifetime ago when I spent 3 weeks training down here at the Learning Center to become a res agent in Boston. Exactly 36 years ago this month. And my oldest daughter, Dawn, was 1.5 at that time. And then my next two daughters, Danielle and Dara, were both born in Hartford as I worked at the ERO for 4 years. My years as a tariff agent and at the ERO and the SRO prepared me for to become a total of 27 years in the pricing department. I started at headquarters as a TDY when the department included one director, one Caribbean analyst, one Mexico analyst, and one analyst for Canada and Alaska. Yeah, they were part of international at one time. After a few weeks, Braniff went bankrupt, and we started Dallas, London on 5 days' notice, and I became AA's first transatlantic pricing analyst. As you've heard, we did file fares on paper at that time, and FedEx everything to ATP at night, and the next day we would get a FedEx package for what OA did the previous day. We really have come a long way. Throughout the 1980s, our department grew as we started service to Germany and France and Belgium and Switzerland and Italy, and then we started Japan. And then we bought Easton's Latin routes. In the mid-80s, I was involved with ATP and the DOT to help start and kick off and initiate GFS and electronic filings. I was leading a team of pricing analysts for all entities, and then I later became AA's prorate and IATA expert. I then went to sales development. I then went to AMR Services as Canadian Airlines sales manager, which was a lot of fun. I was telling Dawn earlier about all the great places across Canada my team and I traveled before Carol Wright asked me to come back to RM as Canadian's pricing manager. And then later Rob Friedman brought me over to manage the D team in Mexico. And leading a very seasoned and expert group of analysts, many of whom I had worked with years earlier in tariff. Boy, they really know their stuff. That team grew and grew and grew until we had to split the team with 2 managers, and I was very lucky to have co-managers like John Schmiel and Kay Kerman at my side. And now I feel really good about leaving it all in Joe Maloney's very capable hands. Joe, where are you, Joe? Joe, you'll do great. Things have changed a lot over the last 3.5 decades, here at AA and also in my life. My team and friends at AA have seen me through quite a bit. The birth of my daughters, many, many grandchildren, the terrible events of 9/11, tough times of personal loss, as well as a wonderful new marriage. Right behind my faith and family and friends, my life at AA has been a stable, secure, and challenging force and has guided and influenced me so much through so much of my life's experiences. Speaking of family, I do want to introduce those who have joined me here today. Carol, my wife, please stand for a minute. My 3 daughters, Dawn, Danielle, and Dara. My son-in-law, Greg. And 4 of my many, many grandchildren. We have Brennan and Christian and Jesse and John Michael. I really appreciate you guys being here. I never would have guessed that I would spend 36 years here at AA. Some very tough years, but mostly very rewarding and very blessed years. People have been asking me for a while now how I feel about retiring, and I've been saying that it feels both scary and exciting. Scary to not do what I've done for so many years, and yet exciting to turn a new chapter in my life. I don't know why, but I do know it's my time to do something different. I have a whole new journey about to unfold. Right after Carol and I finish the addition we're adding to our house. Next year will be totally new for me, and only one that I know that God has His hand in and will lead me along the way. Right now, this feels more than a little weird. To know that I won't be interacting on a daily basis with those of you with whom I've worked for so many years, who have taught me so much and have helped me to grow. You've shown so much friendship to me and to my family for so long. There are so many people here, good friends who I will miss very much. But know that I'm not far, and that some of our friendships will not end with my retirement. Vasu, you've been a great last boss. Thanks for making hard work so much fun. And Joe, you have my cell number. And I know the team will take good care of you as they've done for me. This really means a lot. Thank you very much.